Today we're going to talk about the W-4, the 2018 version, and we're going to focus on married filing jointly with kids. And we're also going to answer the question, why are my allowances so high? My name is Travis Sickle, Certified Financial Planner with Sickle Hunter Financial Advisors. The W-4 helps us calculate the amount of allowances, which in turn calculates the amount of taxes that should be withheld from each paycheck. The higher your allowances, the less money that's actually going to be withheld from each paycheck. So if you're married filing jointly and you have kids, your allowances are apt to be a lot higher than somebody who is single with no kids. One of the biggest questions that we see when filling out the W-4 for 2018 is the fact that the allowances are higher. And the reason those allowances are so high is because the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act has taken the child tax credit and doubled it. So it went from $1,000 all the way up to $2,000. If you make less than $101,401 as married filing jointly, then each child that you have is going to be 4 allowances. So if you have 3 children, that's going to be 12 allowances. So you can see that the number increases the more allowances that you have, which will reduce the amount of withholdings that you're going to have in each paycheck and ultimately less taxes at the end of the year. Now, just because you have a high amount of allowances and you're taking less out of each paycheck, it doesn't actually affect your overall tax liability. That's going to be based on all the factors that are included in your financial situation. The W-4 is pretty straightforward. But if you do have a question, such as you don't know how much your bonus is going to be and your allowances might change based on those answers, well, if it's off by 1 or 2 based on those answers because you don't know them, just understand that those are only going to affect your withholdings, the amount that's withheld from each paycheck. It's not going to affect your overall tax liability because the W-4 helps you figure out your allowances to help you figure out your tax liability on each paycheck, and that's only an estimate. When filling out the W-4 for 2018, you have a choice to take the online version or the paper version. The online version is going to be a little bit more accurate. The reason that's going to be a little bit more accurate is because it's taken into consideration the amount you've already withheld. So if you've over or underestimated previously for whatever reason, then it's going to adjust the amount of allowances that you have. So if you take both, you might not get the same answer. That's okay, because at the end of the year when you file your taxes, it's going to make those adjustments. The idea is to get as accurate as possible and withhold the correct amount so you don't get any huge surprises at the end of the year. If you look at the top of the W-4 for the 2018 version, the paper version, you'll see that it explains clearly, this is only an estimate, and you might have a refund at the end of the year or you might owe taxes at the end of the year. And that's going to be based on your overall tax liability. The W-4 is only an estimate. The online version will say exactly the same thing at the end. It might tell you that you're going to get a refund. Here's what you can expect as a refund, but it doesn't guarantee it because it's only an estimate. We're going to go to the online version now so I can walk you through what you can expect when you're filling out the W-4 2018 for married filing jointly with kids. This is the page that you'll see when filling out the W-4 on the online version. I'm going to put the link at the bottom. It's irs.gov/W4 app. That's APP. So we're going to go ahead and fill it out. We're going to fill it out as married filing jointly. Check that off. Can anyone else claim me as a dependent on his or her tax return? No. Let's click continue. Next page. First, I'm going to do it as one income earner. We're going to keep a 1 right up here. Down here, we're going to select the number of dependents you will claim on your tax return. So I'm going to put 3 because I have 3 kids. So I'm going to put a 3 right there. Don't include yourself or your spouse. Scroll right down to here, the child tax credit, and we're going to put a 3. Then I'm going to click continue. So here for this estimate, I'm just going to put $100,000 as this example. I'll go through a couple of other examples in a moment. I'm going to put 0 for this right here, 0. This is the number that you're going to get off of your last pay stub, and that's going to tell you what you've already paid year to date and what you're paying on each pay stub into the withholdings. And by putting 0, my allowances will actually be less as a result because it needs to withhold more taxes because we're already in March at this point. Twice a month, I'm going to put twice a month here. That's 24 a year, 24 payments a year. Every 2 weeks would be 26, and weekly would be 52 times a year, monthly 12. I'm going to keep it at twice a month. And I started this job on January 1st, or if you were already employed, just put January 1st. And if you expect to be employed for the whole year, put December 31st. Then I'm going to come down here and click continue. These are only if you're itemizing deductions, and I'm going to skip over this and go continue. And there you have it. Right here it says 13 allowances. It says I'm going to make $100,000 this year. I'm going to be the only income earner. My estimate is going to be $2,742, and this is all that you need, 13 allowances. Now let's go back for a moment, adjust the amount of taxes that we've paid year to date. And for whatever reason, we withheld considerably more, let's say with $2,500. And I click continue, continue. Then here you're going to see that the allowances are going to go up significantly. The reason that it went up to 20 allowances is because it needs to reduce the amount of tax liability that's coming out on each paycheck. Because my estimate for the year is still going to be exactly the same, but since I've already paid all these additional dollars, then it needs to withhold significantly less. Again, the higher the allowances, the less taxes that are coming out on each paycheck. Another reason why your allowances might be significantly higher is if you had a financial change or a life change. So if you had an additional child, that's going to increase it significantly. And if you had a job change where your pay is significantly different, that's also going to affect it quite a bit. Now let's say that we're married filing jointly. No one can claim us as a dependent. Continue. Now let's say you have a working spouse. So now you have 2 jobs in the household. And let's say you again have 3 children. Qualifying children is 3. Click continue. And let's say job earner number 1, 50,000. Job earner number 2, 50,000. No bonuses. Nothing else is different. It's going to force you to put a number here. So we're just going to put 0 for now. It won't let you continue unless you put something in there. And we'll do twice a month again. Click continue. Continue. And here you'll see that it breaks up the allowances that you'll each have. So they each have 5. So you'll each have 5 allowances, but what you'll notice too is your overall tax liability is exactly the same because when you are married filing jointly, you're filing jointly, therefore your 50 plus 50 is going to be 100. So it's going to be the same amount that you're actually going to have as a tax liability. It's just the allowances are going to be split up. So I'll go through it again. If we do married filing jointly, click continue, and we'll stick with the 2 jobs that we just had, but this time we'll only put 2 kids, and we'll do 2 kids. Click continue. We'll do the 50,000 again, 50,000 again. We'll do 0, 0, 0, 0. Same here, continue, continue. And what you'll see here is it gave 0 allowances and 5 allowances. So you can see right here the effect of that child tax credit by 1. You can see it went from $2,000 to $4,742. And you can see that there's 0 allowances here and 5 allowances here. You can see that going through the different scenarios on the W-4 for the 2018 version, that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act really impacted the amount of allowances that you're going to have and will also impact the amount that you're going to see back in each paycheck. So if you're making the same amount, you should start to see more in each paycheck if everything is the same. And for each child that you have, those allowances are going to be higher, and that's where you're getting that large number from. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave your comments down at the bottom.